Could I get fillers, or should I do Botox to try and maintain this youthful appearance? Hey guys, I wanted to talk today about aging. I saw this very powerful movie last night that has just been on my mind, and it just brought up lots of different thoughts, and I wanted to chat about it with you guys because aging is obviously it's a big topic. It's something that we're, God willing, all going to get to experience. And there's lots of thoughts and feelings around getting older. I do feel like, as I've been, approaching my 40s, that I was a little bit ageist. But since hitting 40, and now I'm 46, I feel very differently. And I don't know if that just comes with age. Like, as you get older, you have this new way of looking at things, and it's just not possible when you're younger to have that point of view, or whether I just, had a bit of an ageist point of view. I don't know. But the movie last night was called The Substance. Now, this is a powerful, powerful movie. Also extremely gross. Like, extremely gross. I really enjoyed the movie. It's very engaging. But I do feel like I could have stopped it before, like, the last half an hour. Like, the last half an hour gets full on. It is gross, disgusting. Yeah, I had to leave the room. I had to block my ears because the whole movie is like a big ASMR experience. Like, the cinematography is amazing and the sounds are amazing. But because there's bodily things going on, there's a lot of gross sounds that you don't want to hear. But for a lot of the movie, that's really cool. Like, there's really like tight macro shots of things, and it's very tactile. Like, you feel like you can touch things. You feel like, you can hear everything. It's very good. Anyway, let's get on to what it's about. If you don't want to know anything about it and you want to go watch it first and then come back here and have a listen. So it's about this woman, Demi Moore, who plays this aerobics instructor, and she's getting on. We don't exactly know what age she's meant to be in the movie, but I'm thinking she's at least meant to be in her 50s. But the production team or production station, whatever they are, they want to replace her with a younger woman. So she finds this this product, this thing called The Substance, and it basically creates a younger version of her. A version of her that literally breaks through out of her back. That wasn't the grossest bit, actually, surprisingly. It got worse. But this younger version of her comes out of her back, and for 7 days they have to alternate. So for 7 days, the young one is her, and then they do this switch procedure where they like inject this thing into each of them, and the blood swaps, and then the older character comes back to life, and she does 7 days. And as you can imagine, some interesting things happen. Even though she's the same person, and she's reminded throughout the thing that you are one person, the two start to kind of act in opposing ways. Well, particularly the young one. And the young one starts going over her time. So instead of doing just 7 days, she increases it a little bit. And by doing that, she's taking away from the older one. So then the older one will wake up, and there'll be small alterations that will have happened to her that have all of a sudden aged her dramatically. It might have just, starts with just like a finger, and then it's a leg, and then eventually the older one, like the young one, saps away so much of the older one's goodness that she just becomes this almost hideous monster. Like, it's quite emotional, actually, because it sort of makes you think. Well, for one, it was sad. It was sad to see the younger one not taking care of the older one. God, it actually makes me feel a bit emotional talking about it. Because I was watching it thinking, I was feeling really sorry for the older character. I was looking at this younger woman thinking, how can you not be taking care of your older self and looking after her and nurturing her? Like, she just sort of left her on the bathroom floor and just kept going back and taking from her to keep herself going, and depleting this older version of her till she was like nothing. It was really sad, but so well played. Like, I can see why Demi got I think she got the award, a Golden Globe or something, for the role. But it was very, very, very strong message. And it was, I guess for me, it really focused on the idea that when we're younger, what are we doing to help care and nurture for our older selves? You know, what decisions are we making now? What steps are we taking or not taking? Or how are we harming ourselves in a way that our future self is getting more and more sad? Oh God, sorry, this is not meant to be depressing. This is not meant to be depressing, but yeah, it was really, really, really well done. And just the sort of the ego-ness of the young character and the approach to life of not giving a crap what happens. Holy cow. It's windy. Yeah, the mentality of not really caring what is going to happen to her older self and just living in the moment. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would recommend seeing it. Not for kids, definitely not for anyone with a strong stomach, with a weak stomach. It is rated R, so you know it's got heavy themes. There's nudity, which not in a sexual way at all, you know, but there is some nudity and there is obviously some strong themes and graphic grossness. It did really strike a chord with me because it is part of the reason why I have started this daily dancing and focus on movement and wanting to encourage you guys to move, because I am really thinking about what old Nat is going to be like. You know, I don't want to be that hunchback, shriveled up, hideous monster. Which, you know, it really did take it to the extreme. You know, I've not seen an elderly person that's ever looked like this character, thank God. But it's just a really good message about what you want, you know, your future to look like, what you want your old age to look like. And that doesn't have to mean, you know, wow, we've got to be so strict and we can't have any fun and we have to exercise our asses off and eat, you know, keto. And no, it doesn't mean any of that stuff. But it means, you know, moving every day, generally eating, you know, foods that are good for us. It doesn't have to mean going on strict diets or, you know, having to shed 20 kilos to get to the goal weight. Like none of that sort of stuff. It just means, am I doing things today that are going to make me feel good, are going to make me feel a sense of well-being, going to make me feel mentally strong and resilient and emotionally good and solid and happy and all that great stuff. And that's what I have discovered that dancing does for me. It's not going to work for everybody. I'm not saying that everybody has to dance and you'll feel amazing. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But moving every day, that is a thing that everybody should be doing. And it's just a way of supporting the older version of you, because no one wants to get to old age and feel like there's no energy, you know, there's too many aches and pains, there's too much weight, there's mentally we're not feeling clear or happy. Like there's so many things. So that's why I'm dancing every day, why I want to encourage you guys to dance every day, or at least move every day. It doesn't have to be a lot. We're not talking running a marathon here. We're just talking some movement. Like it's very basic. And I've had a lot of comments from people, you know, across all the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, saying, you know, things like that they know they're not moving enough. People know they're not moving enough, and they struggle to get going. They struggle to find something that they love that really brings joy. And I totally get it, because I mean, I have generally been relatively active in my life. Like I've always found movement helped me mentally, most importantly, but have never found a form of movement that brings me the joy that dancing does. And I wish I could understand exactly why. Like I've been thinking recently, what is it about dancing that does make me feel so good? And I think it's music. It's a way of expressing yourself to the music. It's freeing. You know, there's something very freeing about just moving your body in these fun, you know, creative ways. It's a form of, you know, it's an art form. It's very beautiful. It's, gosh, I don't know exactly. I just think it's everything. It works parts of your brain that, like, I did read about this, like the reward centers of your brain. There's something about it that creates this feeling of reward, I think, in your brain. I'd like to learn more. I really would like to learn more, because I'd like to understand why it's so good. Yeah, I don't know entirely. I just know that it feels good. and if something feels good, you're going to want to keep doing it. So if it's not dancing for you, it may be something else. It may be running, it may be gym, it may be Pilates, it may be skiing. I don't know. It could be anything. It's whatever gives you that beautiful rush feeling, that high, that natural high. But the great thing about dancing is that it can be done anywhere. You don't need special equipment, special gear, a fancy location, nothing. It's just you. You just need you, and you just need some music. So in that respect, it's super easy. If you're interested in choreography, obviously, I have a lot of tutorials and I'm doing more every week. So they're available to you guys to do for free. You can do them anywhere you want. You just need your phone pretty much. So I'm trying to make it as easy and accessible for people to be able to dance with me and find that joy through dancing and through movement. Yeah, all with the goal of just feeling great, feeling happy, creating that joy within you, because it really does change your mood. You know, if you're having any kind of struggles or, you know, some mental sort of struggles, dancing will really help. I'm not saying it's a cure, definitely not. I'm not saying that. But I really do think it's a form of therapy. I really believe that it helps. It can really change your state, your internal state, and your external state as well. You know, I definitely feel stronger and fitter. And, you know, initially when I started, I suppose weight loss was a goal. But that's really changed now. Like, I used to be so focused on the scale, like every day weighing, and my mood would really be affected if the scales weren't favorable. If they were in my favor, it's going to be a great day. If they weren't in my favor, we're gonna struggle through the morning to sort of get ourselves going again. And that's no way to live. That's not fun. And since dancing every day, I don't feel like that. Like, I really haven't lost a lot of weight. Even though I'm dancing every day, I feel like I've built muscle, I've built strength, I've maybe dropped a couple of kilos, but that's really all. And I don't care. And that feels good. That feels good not to care. And I feel like I'm embracing the getting older thing much better because I'm dancing and because I'm feeling strong and I feel capable. You know, I'm not feeling like, oh, when I walk down the stairs, you know, what's going to hurt, or if I try to lift or move something, oh, I'm going to pull a muscle. And I think that's where people, as they get older, what can affect their mental state is when they stop feeling capable and they stop feeling like they can do stuff, because then they feel like they need help, they can't look after themselves, or they feel like they're not sort of helpful to anybody else because they're not as capable. So I think that's why the dancing, or just the moving in general, and the staying fit and strong helps you cope better with getting older, because I've got a new appreciation now for my body. Even though, you know, it may not look exactly the way that I would like. And, you know, through most of my life, I have been up and down with weight, and it's been a bit of a constant thing of, you know, getting to the goal weight, blah, blah, blah. Ugh. But now there's other things as I get older. Like, I'm looking myself here in the mirror, you know, I've got the grey hairs are showing, you know, I have these bags under my eyes that I've had for a while now, and there's no getting rid of them. I'm starting to get, you know, the loosey-goosey neck. So there are things like that I remember, new wrinkles, you know, things that I can remember like spotting for the first time and being quite upset and quite like, this is something new, like this is a new wrinkle, or these here, you know, these are new wrinkles that have popped up and they're now there, like they're there, that's it. How am I going to now live in myself with these new old age signs right on my face that everyone can see? That used to bother me. Like, I'd have moments where would feel sort of like, oh, quite sort of sad, and like even looking into like, oh, you know, what can I get fillers, or, you know, should I do Botox to try and maintain this youthful appearance? But I'm letting go of all that. You know, I really feel like I'm coping better with looking at myself getting older. You know, I'm able to look at pictures of myself younger now, and instead of being like, oh, sad, or like jealous of young me, or thinking, I gotta lose some more weight. I gotta get back to what I was. No, that's how I was then, and I appreciate. Well, I may not have appreciated it at the time, which is always the way, but looking back, I can appreciate it now that I actually, I did look quite nice, and maybe I wasn't entirely appreciative of it back then. So now I want to be appreciative now of how I look, because in 20, 30 years, I'm probably going to look back to myself now at 46 and think, oh shit, I look pretty good, so to speak. So I want to appreciate it now. I don't want to constantly be looking back and going, oh, I did used to look good, so I look good now. I look good, okay? And you look good. So I want you to remember that. When you look in the mirror and you see that next wrinkle, the next grey hair, the saggy neck, the this, whatever it is, you still look good, If you're moving and you're feeling strong and fit and mentally strong, these things won't bother you, okay? They won't bother you as much. So I want you to keep that in mind, okay? We are just going to get older. Things are going to look older. We're not meant to look like we're 20 for our whole lives, okay? And I think it's kind of a bit gross to use that word again when you do see older people trying to look considerably younger. I'm not saying that not to put in effort and to do things that make yourself feel good, and skin creams and Botox if you want, and hair treatments and all that stuff. I'm not saying not to do those sort of things, but like there's a scene in the movie where Demi's trying to get ready to go out, and she sees like a billboard of this younger version of her that's outside her window because she's become this big celebrity. And then she's about to go out, so she rushes back into the bathroom and she starts to apply more makeup and more rouge and like trying to make herself look younger, I assume, and better. And it just, gross. To me, it just seemed gross. Like she wasn't able to accept the way she looked. And she just became more and more distraught to the point where she was like smearing makeup just all over her face, and she was just a mess. And then she didn't even go out. And I can relate to that feeling too, where I've been trying to get ready for something and I can't find anything to wear, or I'm just not loving how I look. And the whole thought of going out and having to be around people and speak to people and be social is like horrendous. Like I just want to stay home. Just let me go to bed, stay home, curl up and, hide. I don't want to show myself to people. And that's no fun. That's no way to live. Like we want to be able to embrace ourselves, all of ourselves, even if it's not perfect, who cares? It doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect's boring. Anyway, it's a good movie. It's a really good thought starter. It'll make you think about, I suppose, what you're doing now to support your older self down the track. And are you doing things that are really helping her or him to have the best life? Because I suppose, and I've never really thought of it this way until watching this movie, was that we are caring for our older selves now. Our younger self has gone. They've had their time. Right now, we are nurturing our older self. And if you think of it like that, I think it could really change what you're doing. I mean, if you sort of actually visualize your older self sitting on the veranda, reading a book or something, 20, 30 years down the track, however old you are, and then think about what you're doing now, and every time you're doing something or not doing something, how is it affecting them? What's it doing to them? Are they able to get up out of the chair as easily as they could if you were moving every day now? God, that's really interesting to think about. Anyway, that's all I wanted to chat about. I hope this wasn't a downer. It wasn't really meant to be a downer, but I suppose I just want to reiterate the message of moving every day and taking care of ourselves now and in the future. All right, guys. I'll see you next time.